Now, if I'm not mistaken, the spell of yours has a duration of about 5 minutes. It can only be cast once per day unless you have some other trick up your sleeve, I believe. There are few people who would like to have a word with you and your companion. All the mages who were being chased by skeletons a few moments ago have now surrounded the necromancer, his ally, and you see they are thirsty for blood. I'm tired of your crap, Zek, says the necromancer's companion. Every single time it's like this. I'm tired of always having to save your sorry behind. Next time we're in a town, you're the one buying drinks. The mage with the circle in his hand then throws something on the ground. It explodes, fills the whole area with a thick smoke. Quick, says one of the mages, disperse the smoke, don't let them get away. The air elementalists blow away the smoke away. As you can see, Zek and his friends, a few 100 feet from us, running towards the trees after them, says the mage, and they all start chasing the two of them. Eventually, the mages disappear into the forest. The only person still remaining in clearing behind being me, Darren, Kate, Hadrick, Azarius, and a young boy likely in his late teens who seemed to be the sage loyal retainer. It really never ceases to amaze me how easily people can be fooled by simple illusions like that, Azarius says while stroking his beard. Don't you mean smoke bomb? Wait, are you saying that those mages are still hiding around it invisibly? No, of course not. What would they have to gain from lingering around here after what just happened? They did go invisible while everything was covered in smoke, but as soon as all of the mages were lured away by their decoys, they simply teleported away. I figured they learned their lesson, so I let them off with a stern warning for now. Barry, Kate, Darren, we hear Rose shout from the other end of the clearing. Thank the gods you're okay. As she approaches us, pauses to catch her breath. She must have been running all the way here. What happened? She asks us. How did you all end up in this place? It was Aiden, Darren says. He teleported us here along with other 50 mages, probably in the hope that we get to kill each other. Watch us all kill each other, but he eventually got bored and teleported away. Most of the other mages left the clearing in a hurry. A few seconds ago, chasing after some necromancer who tried to kill us all, but failed miserably. I see, Rose says. She turns towards Hadrick and walks over to him and offering to shake his hand. You must be the shape-shifting giant from before. I'm very pleased to meet you. My name is Darren. Did you manage to find the challenger you're looking for? Aye, lass, Hadrick says, grinning, as he grabs her hand and shakes it. I believe I have. Did he just have a quick glance towards me when he said that? Oh gods, I hope not. Maybe it was just my imagination. This is good to hear, Rose says, smiling. Then turns to Azarius. I'm sorry, do I know you from somewhere? He says, you look very familiar. I do not believe we've met before, but my portrait appears in the newspaper every once in a while, so you may know me from there. My name is Azarius. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Master Azarius, says the young boy beside him. I do not mean to be rude, but may I ask why you chose to interfere in the fight? Weren't you the one who taught me the banshees are foul demons that are not to be trusted? Henry, I've told you many times before, there is no need to address me so formal when you address me. You simply call me Azarius. As for your question, before I answer you, I must ask you this. Do you remember the first lesson I taught you about banshees? Do you remember why banshees needed to possess human or animal bodies in order to survive? Of course, the banshees were originally born in the magical plane of existence, but they were banished long ago and cursed to live the rest of their lives on a earthen plane. On this plane, it's not possible to live for long without a physical body, so the banshees were forced to adapt by stealing the bodies of other living organisms. Once it is seized by a banshee, the body stops aging, but due to the incompatibility between the banshee's soul and the physical body, the link between the two will decay over time, which forces the spirit to change host once every few decades. Very good, as it is. Now tell me, do you sense any kind of otherworldly vibe radiated from this woman's body? Does a magical power appear in any way to be different from that of any other mage you've encountered in your life? No, but I don't understand. How can this be? Sage smiled. This is because she isn't a banshee. She's a woman with magical powers, a woman mage, if you will. What? Darren blurts out. How can you be so sure? You can't possibly tell me that you are basing your entire reasoning on something so vague. Surprise me, Healer in armor, Azarius says thoughtfully as he strokes his beard. The way you phrase your last sentence suggests that you do not believe this woman to be anything other than a banshee. You seem to be traveling alongside her, most peculiar. Darren is looking a little flustered after hearing the sage's remark, but Azarius pays no mind. Instead steps towards me. What about you, Mary? He asked me. From what I could gather, the four of you are all traveling together. How would you define your relationship with a young woman named Kate? Only just met yesterday, so I guess we could say acquaintance. I see her as a friend. We're not actually in a relationship just yet, but we're getting there. Oh, that's so funny. That's funny. I'll go with that. We're not actually in a relationship just yet, but we're getting there. Oh. I could stop right. I would stop right there if I were you, my friend. I can almost feel the young lady's killing intent from here. But but still, you seem to be on a much friendlier terms with her than your companion. Tell me, Barry, why do you consider her to be a banshee as well? Do you consider her to be a banshee as well? What? No, of course not. Interesting. May I ask you then if you know about the Beacon of Hope? Yes, she took a short glance towards Kate before continuing. She told me everything. Wait a minute, Darren interrupts me. Didn't Aiden say something about the beacon this morning? Yeah, he said that Kate was a survivor from there. Tell him. A survivor, Darren says. Yeah, now I remember. And he didn't want to tell us what that meant. What is the Beacon of Hope anyway? To put it bluntly, as it says, the Beacon of Hope was a human experimentation facility disguised as an orphanage. The purpose of that institution was to create mages artificially. Kate's magical powers are a direct result of those experiments. She's... What? Darren asks, seemingly in too much of a shock to be able to form a coherent sentence. Kate, you were a mage? Rose asks, surprised. Yes, Kate answers hers. What did you think I was? Well, those mages we met in the forest with this morning kept shouting that you were a banshee, so I kind of figured that that's what you were. Everyone seemed to know what it meant, so I didn't want to appear dumb by asking. Kate asks softly. I guess labels aren't really very important to you, are they, Rose? She says, smiling. She'll have to admit, Hadrick says, grinning. I didn't expect to meet two survivors on the Beacon of Hope in the same day. The tournament is really something else. Two survivors, ask him. You mean to say that there's another artificial mage here on this continent besides Kate? Aye, the dwarf says, and she's mighty strong too. She took me out with almost no effort. I'm pretty sure that she was using lightning in the same way. In the same way elementalists would use water or fire. Being a artificial mage sure had his perks. You know where she was headed? She and her friends in a dark blue robes have a camp set up not far from here. From what I understand, they have no plans to leave until later tomorrow. Could you take me to them? Kate blurts out, perhaps a little too loudly. The dwarf looks slightly taken aback by Kate's sudden request. Please, she adds, this time in a lower, pleading voice. Hadrick says, you're asking quite a lot of me, lass. I only barely escaped with my life the last time. Is this woman your friend? Yes, she's a very old friend. Hadrick gives Kate a long pondering look before he decides to speak. Tell you what, the dog says, I'll agree to lead you to your friend's camp on one condition. Name it. Kate says, her face suddenly lighting up. Hadrick grins. Your friend over there has to beat me in a duel. He says as he turns towards me. I would have thrown my hands up like, bro, really? Barry, Kate shouts with a mixture of both shock and disappointment in her voice. You want Barry to defeat you in a duel? You can't be serious by him of all people. I don't know if he is a Stillwater or not. I don't know if he's a Stillwater or not, but I'm quite positive I saw him single-handedly fighting a dragon a few hours ago. We rarely get to meet a worthier opponent. Kate looks at me hesitantly, probably wanting to see what my reaction is to all of this. I'm not looking for an all-out fight, Hadrick says. We wouldn't want to wear ourselves out completely before the tournament even begins. A short sparring session will do. No magic, no weapons, just like my fight with the Stillwater from before. And since we're in a hurry, whoever makes the other one fall to the ground first will declare the victor. It would be funny if we just like jump and like not accidentally, on purpose, just like, oh, I'm slipping, and the fall to the ground. Like, okay, I've lost. That would be funny. Dwarf turns to me grinning yet again. So what do you say, Barry? Are you in or out? Fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. If we refuse, he's still not gonna believe it, so might as well fucking... Sure, why not? I'll give it a shot. Ha, that's the spirit, Hadrick says. Barry, wait. Kate says, you'll get yourself killed, be fine. I tell her, as long as I align myself with the dwarf, leaving about 20 feet of distance between us. He doesn't try to stop me anymore, but I can see that she has an uneasy look in her eyes. Yeah, even if we don't accept the duel, then he's not gonna take us there, and Kate is just going to be fucking sidewinding us the whole time. And if he's still not gonna believe that we're not a Stillwater. Who knows? He might even attack us. So there's like plenty of problems that can arise from not accepting this duel. I personally don't want to, but this is the best course of action, unfortunately. And we're being too calm about it is actually going to hurt a lot. Well, at least we have a healer. He should be able to heal any broken bones at least. Kate doesn't try to stop me anymore, but I can see that she has an uneasy look in her eyes. The others are now stepping aside in order to give us space we need to begin our fight. Something that has been bothering me ever since we got teleported here, but I'm not sure if anyone has noticed this, but the dwarf has been shifting this entire time. I can feel the can tell by the feel of his original aura that this is not his original form. As far as I know, shape-shifting magic can only be used to change your size or transform yourself into another creature. It cannot be used to disguise yourself as someone else. What possible benefit could Hardrick get from transforming into a dwarf? I then suddenly remember his first appearance. Of course, now it all makes sense. Why didn't I realize this sooner? Shape-shifting magic cannot be used to turn yourself into a giant, but can be used to turn yourself into a dwarf. He didn't use magic to become 50 feet tall, he just reverted to his original form. Hardrick is a giant. The reason he's masquerading as a dwarf is likely because giants are were never invited in this tournament, and he fears that they will kick him out if they find out the truth. It explains his inhuman. We should go up to his ear and like speak in his ear, like, "Are you a giant, bro?" Or something like that. That would be funny. This explains his inhuman strength from before. When shape-shifting into something smaller than yourself, you usually retain a small part of your original mass, most of your original strength. A single blow from him could blow me to bits. I need to be extra careful here. Even if he said this is going to be a sparring match, he doesn't really look like the kind of guy who knows how to hold back. Now that I know that he's a giant, I can use this information to my advantage. Since he chose to transform into a dwarf and not a human, his body proportions are completely different from those of a normal body. He even said himself that he wasn't used to running with short legs. I'm willing to bet that this is affecting his sense of balance somehow. I just need to use the techniques that aim specifically to knock him off his balance. Hardrick is now grinning and crack his knuckles. "Where were he?" says after a while. "Here I come." The dwarf comes charging directly towards me without bothering to use any evasive maneuvers. Just before he reaches me, he picks up speed and appears right in front of me, almost as if he used teleport. Instead of going for a punch, however, he attempts to prod me with his index finger. Reflexes challenge. Level 3. Okay, combat technique failed though because we didn't learn any. But I don't know, if that hits me, it will manage to suddenly throw me off my feet. I managed to step sideways at the last moment, and I tried to take advantage of his momentum to grab him by the arm, pull him to the ground. Instead of letting himself get pulled, Hardrick grabs me onto me, spins himself, throws me to the ground, sending me rolling for about 2 seconds before I come to a full stop. "Barry, are you okay?" Darren shouts as he rushes towards me. "I'm fine." I answer him, just maybe a little shaken up. Well, that was disappointing. Hardrick says disappointed. I guess I was getting my hopes up a little too much for this fight. I was just caught off guard by your speed. Normally I'm not so weak. No, that was trash. I want a rematch. Ask him. Aha, you're a tenacious, but I'll give you that. Alright, then a rematch it is, but I won't be going easy on you anymore this time around. No, Kid shouts as he comes towards us and then turns to me. "Barry, I'm really sorry that you got hurt for my sake. I shouldn't have let you fight in my stead." Actually, that ended way better than I expected. That was bomb. That ended way better than I could have possibly expected. He then turns to Hardrick. "A dwarf," Kate says, "how about another deal? If I fight you instead of Barry, and if I win, I'll lead you to my friend's camp, but instead of a fist fight, we'll have a magic duel." "A magic duel?" Hardrick says with a grin. "Are you positive about this?" We should probably just coerce him like "Oh, giant." I'm positive. Well, we could probably kill us if we knew about that. Then again, there's a problem with that. I'm positive. Well, then we have a deal. You fight me in a magic duel and will positively lead you to where you want to go. I'm just going to need a few seconds to get ready, if you don't mind. Of course. Kate says, "Feel free to cast any protection spells you want. I've already cast mine this morning." Skate was talking. The giant started to rapidly gaining in size. The ground becomes to shake violently as he grew more and more, while his skin starting getting covered in black scales and wings starting sprouting out of his back. When he reaches the end of his transformation, Hardrick has turned into full-blown black dragon, almost the same as Tyrath. There, Hardrick says, baring his fangs to show his usual wild grin. "Now I'm ready. Gods have mercy." Kate says, looking up at the huge monster that spawned before her. And Rose starts screaming all of a sudden. She sees the dragon. "Stay away, stay away." Rose, calm down, don't tell her. It's just Hardrick in his shape-shifting form, not a real dragon. "What's wrong, Kate?" Hardrick says. His voice is much deeper and louder than when he was in his dwarf form. "You're not going to back out on me now, are you?" Kate frowns. "No," Kate says. "I'm just a little surprised, that's all. But if it's a dragon fight you want, then I have no objection." We should probably tell her that it's a giant, but whatever. Kate is now assembling her very own dragon out of sculpted ice with the size to match of Hardrick's, but this seems different from all her other spells. The ice dragon that is now standing there before us seems almost as if it were an actual living, breathing creature. This is on a level, another level compared to what she cast before. She must have really be going all out. You may have the appearance of a dragon, Kate says, but you and I both know the Shapeshifting does not grant you the ability to breathe fire. You can't cast any fire spells while you are in that form either. Let me see how long you can last against my ice. Hadrick grins and soars into the sky. The Kate dragon follows him. How is an ice dragon flying? And I mean, dragons are able to fly because their bones must be hollow. That's the only way that would make sense. So it's kind of iffy, not gonna lie.